listening to Live the Dream Media, exclusively on the Live the Dream Media Network.
Thank you for tuning in to the Live the Dream Media Network. Our featured broadcast will begin shortly.
Can't look at me straight. I step up closer to the edge of her waist. Palm sweat, can't wait. She leans into me. Oh yeah. I grant her a dream, 'cause I'm a lover boy at heart. I'm a lover boy at heart. Headed for the lake. Toots on bikini and an attitude change. Stands up tall with the wind in her face, saying boyfriend that way. She leans into me. Oh yeah. I slam on the speed, 'cause I'm a lover boy at heart, yeah. I'm a lover boy at heart.
You've got a voice, but are you ready for a global audience? Don't just settle for standard studio rental. At Live the Dream Media, we amplify your voice by broadcasting your podcast completely live on our exclusive online radio network. Whether they're down the street or across the world, your listeners can lock in live on YouTube, Meta, and the Live the Dream Media app. Why choose live? Because real-time connection builds a loyal community, extends your reach further than ever, and turns a simple recording into a massive digital event. Stop waiting on the edit. Go live, build your crowd, and live the dream with Live the Dream Media today.
Radio evolves more as the years progress, and it is only becoming better. Introducing the Live the Dream Media app. Catch your favorite music 24/7 and tune into live podcasts, or catch up on your own time with our on-demand library. No matter where you travel in the world, you can be anywhere on the planet and stay connected. Download the Live the Dream Media app for free today on the Apple App Store and Google Play, and experience radio reimagined.
You are listening to Live the Dream Media, exclusively on the Live the Dream Media Network.
The views and opinions expressed on Inside Track are those of the hosts and their guests, which do not necessarily reflect those of LTD Media or their sponsors. But they should.
Welcome to Inside Track with Bruce Ash and Eb Wilkinson on the Live the Dream Media Network.
I love that disclaimer, Bruce.
Hello, everyone, and a very pleasant morning to you wherever you may be. Welcome to a special edition of Inside Track. Bruce Ash and
Eb Wilkinson
coming to you live from the Live the Dream Media Studios in Marana, Arizona. Arizona's 2026 primary was yesterday. I was disappointed. Friends such as David Schweikert, Catherine Haley, Dick Myers, and my colleague and friend Christy Simone failed in their effort to serve the public. But pleased to see Republicans John Post in Marana, Melody Barrett in Oro Valley, Chris King, John Winchester in LD 17, statewide candidates Andy Biggs, Alex Culloden, Kevin Thompson, Kimberly Yee, Warren Peterson, and even Democrat Alma Hernandez, who has taken a lot of crap from her party. It takes not just a lot of money, as you know, but hard work and courage to run for public office. This is how our constitutional republic works, and we have to work hard and be courageous to run for public office. I love Christy Simone's Facebook posting this morning of a beautiful Arizona morning sunrise. To those not moving forward, the world is not ending. It is the next day in their lives, and life goes on. For those who are moving on, it's time for them to hit the pedal and drive hard and win their elections. For us Republican voters, it's time to put our disappointments aside and support our Republican candidates to keep our state free and prosperous. Eb?
Hey, thanks for joining us on Live the Dream Media app, watching us on X, Facebook, YouTube, or any of the other platforms out there. The first half of the show is brought to you by our good friend Eric Rudin from Essential Pest. Call them to keep your home or business free from all sorts of vermin, pests, weeds. Today, call them at 886-3029. They were just out at the house the other day. Spring is here, and the long, hot summer is right around the corner. Bugs Fear Essential. Call them today to protect your home or business. Bruce?
Also supporting Inside Track is S Great Company Wilkinson Wealth Management. I'm a client along with my sister, and he does a great job for our family. And our other sponsors, Tucson Iron and Metal Surplus, my family-run company, Paul Ash Commercial Real Estate, where we make good things happen every day. Eb.
Hey, let's get right down to business. Bruce and I are pleased to welcome a man who fled red Chinese opposition, oppression. Solomon Yue is an American Republican political activist, entrepreneur, and former member of the Republican National Committee from Oregon. He's known for his long tenure as Oregon's Republican National Committeeman from 2000 to 2024, and as the founder and vice chairman, CEO of the Republicans Overseas, an organization that represents American Republicans living abroad. He was born in Shanghai, China in 1959. He came to our country as a young man and embraced the American dream. Wow, that's rare. Yeah. Love to see that happen more often. And has been a longtime political activist, national political leader in the Republican Party, and now author about his most exciting life in his newly released book, Counterscript. Solomon Yue comes to us today from his home in Oregon. I've met Solomon, great guy. Solomon, welcome.
Thank you. And I'm so glad got an invitation from you guys again, and looking forward to this interview.
Us too.
Hey, why did you decide to write Counterscript, and explain the meaning behind the title?
Counterscript really means I've been brought up to be a little good commie, right? It didn't work. You know what they forgot? You can do all the brainwashing you want to do, but they forgot about man's nature. You can't brainwash man's nature. So counterscript really means rebelling. Now, here is the romance side of the reason I wrote this book. I am still dating Carrie McCreston, and Carrie McCreston is a traditional book publisher and specialized in true crimes. And funny thing is, when you're dating somebody and you got to know somebody, you tell lots of stories and your life stories. Each time I tell her a story, she said, I got to write down. I say, honey, why did you have to write down? There is a book going to be published, okay? And this kind of story, nobody knows and people need to hear. So that's the whole thing started.
So, why is this a perfect story about your life?
Because it's a perfect story. I live by the code, okay? The code really is you asking God for the things you want. And you also remember praise God when credit is due. And on top of it, you also remember you need a God to give you strength and wisdom. So based on that, that was my code. Since I was born, I lived through the code.
So, if readers could remember only one lesson from Counterscript, what would you want it to be?
Freedom. And Reagan was right. We're one generation away to lose it because people have no memory or short memory. And when you lose the history, facts, all those stuff, and you have to learn the lesson all over again. And I would not dreamed the fact that America got a communist party. That's the party really is Democrat, today's Democrat Party. Bruce Ash and I actually introduced a RNC resolution calling Democrat Party to rename themselves as Socialist Party then. And
And now you don't have to do that; they're doing it themselves.
Well, our resolution was killed by then RNC Chairman Michael Steele. Can you believe it? It tells a lot about Michael Steele, don't you think? That's and right. So the point is, I never would have dreamed America go as far as supporting communists. Those are real communists.
Jeez. So you write about growing up during Mao's Cultural Revolution. What's the one childhood memory that still shapes how you view freedom today?
Is the day my dad destroyed my shortwave radio. I got my shortwave radio from my late grandpa, John Yue, from Hong Kong. And he sent me all kinds of gifts. Shortwave radio was my only connection to America. Through the shortwave radio, I was listening to Voice of America Chinese program. Now, I couldn't say I understand everything because I was 7 years old. And Dad had to explain to me lots of stuff, what Voice of America was reporting. And one day, he took a hammer and put the radio, put a blankets on top of the radio and busted. I asked him why. He said, if you and I get caught, listen to shortwave radio American program, we could be executed on the spot for listen to enemy radio station. Also with your grandpa in Hong Kong, they would expect us, accusing us to be a British spy for grandpa.
Wow.
And just a quick thing about your grandfather. He had left China to start another family in Hong Kong and had a business there. So in a way, even as a young kid, you sort of lived in two different worlds. You had one foot in China and the other foot through your grandfather in Hong Kong. And how did that influence you? You know, him being in Hong Kong and being successful in business and so on.
Well, it's kind of bitter and sweet. Sweet part is since the day I was born, I'm getting all kinds of gifts from my grandpa and from Hong Kong. And so I was, considered, they call me Prince of Shanghai because the way I dress, the stuff I have, and including hard currency. And when you have hard currency from Hong Kong, you could buy stuff average Chinese people can't or couldn't. And they on food coupons, rations. And we could go to friendship store and buy anything we want. Now, that's one. But the worst part is I found myself defending grandpa during one brainwashing sessions. And communist teacher asked us to criticize capitalism, and especially from those kids from those capitalist family. Without knowing capitalism and without knowing Adam Smith's invisible hand, I used my common sense to defend Jiang Yu, who already were in Hong Kong. And so my issue was Jiang Yu had 12 tailors working for him in Shanghai. And you got a 12 family to support. And he has had a tailor business. And for him to stay in business, he had to satisfy the needs of his customers. And so those guys will come back and buy more suits. And in turn, he support those tailors and tailor families. So serve people's needs and making money is nothing wrong. Now that was a bad thing. I had to write self-criticism for the next 3 days.
Wow.
You know, you take a look at what you went through having to, with them wanting to demonize capitalism, and compare that to what's going on in New York City right now with Mondami doing the exact same thing.
Exactly. What I see right now is America woke cultural revolution happening right here in New York, and including in Portland,
Right.
and in Seattle. So if you compare what I saw then during Mao's Cultural Revolution and now, we're very much the same, except there are no red guards and beating people up and killing people. But at the same time, we got those black guards. The black guards really, those Antifa people out there dressed black. And so when you see this kind of stuff, my concern is we are very close, moving towards socialism and communism, and go through America's Cultural Revolution.
So Solomon, when you and Carrie were talking through a number of years, and you related scenes and things that happened during your childhood before you escaped Red China, could you have ever imagined at that time that we'd be where we are today at this moment with respect to these DSA candidates? We just had, I would say it's a farming community that's in transition to a suburban community here in Southern Arizona. They had a DSA guy running for mayor. They had 3 candidates running for the town council as well. I mean, Abel Franza used to call Marana Dog Patch. Now it's a city of 65,000 people. He would be spinning in his grave if he knew that 3 communists were running for town council and 1 for mayor. Only one of them won because there was a problem with a guy's petition signatures and a write-in candidate who got an amazing amount of votes but couldn't stand up against one of the candidates. It just I mean, could you have imagined at the time that you wrote this book where we were going to be today? And why is this book even more important now for people to read?
That's correct. And first of all, the way Carrie persuaded me to write this book is the fact uh, if we lose this country, she heard me saying that, and I wouldn't have any place to go. This is it.
Right.
And also, all the Trump voters who voted for Trump 2024 and 2016. And when you see this kind of stuff, you said, okay, one of the problem is we pay property tax, like government schools brainwash our kids. I identify the problem. And so her argument was you got to counter that. And if you can tell your life story, and more people realize this happened before, and even worse, and more people will realize that is not the road we want to go down. And that's how we started. And it took 1 year to write this book.
So, Solomon, growing up under Mao, in communist China, what about your life growing up was so painful you couldn't write about it in the book?
Yes, that was a reason. Okay, political pain and the persecution side, also family embarrassment. That's why I said when you ask, grandpa, and it is bitter and sweet because the sweet part is he bring me all the gifts and including my shortwave radio. Also, he got me out of China. So I was on CCP's kill list, and he got me out. But on the embarrassment part and the anger, if you will, is the fact he was a church elder, Methodist Church, and in Shanghai, and then had an affair with his church secretary, and took church secretary to Hong Kong, left all of us behind. Now here I was defending capitalism, defending my grandpa, and knowing he left us behind to suffer. So that was the painful memory. And Carrie told me, actually that built character and make you who you are, and faithful to your wife, all this kind of character, because it's a counter script. Again, his Jiang Yu's script is cheat on your wife and be a hypocrite. And even though he claimed he's a Christian and the elder of the church, and left everybody behind to suffer. And so here we are, and I do exactly the opposite.
So, how did you end up on the kill list?
That was on the issue of, again, during communist brainwashing session, and I got into argument with the teacher, and the teacher told me, if you keep arguing like this, I have to talk to your parents. Actually, she sent me to countryside to be re-educated by farmers. And one of the punishment is try to embarrass you, insult you. And I was forced to spread fresh cow dung with my bare hands in rice field. And they think that will force me to obey or to conform, but that didn't happen. So the same teacher got party secretary of the school called my parents and told them government couldn't make me disappear in the night. if my parents couldn't keep my mouth shut, and then my parents would pay for the bullet. That really scared my parents and got them motivated to call Jiang Yu and ask for help, call my grandfather, because Dad is very hesitating. It's a mixed feeling because, his dad abandoned him. And meanwhile, now he has to ask for help to get me out of China. So it's kind of mixed feeling. And this kind of situation, and I do give credit to Jiang Yu, got me out of China, got off the kill list.
And when you came to America, you landed in Alaska,
Yes.
and
When I came to,
and
I only knew.
this was part of a college there that was a Christian-based college, correct?
That's correct. That was Jiang Yu's connection.
Right.
After he escaped, he got himself involved in Hong Kong Methodist Church. That year, Methodist Church was going to organize the next Methodist convention, and he flew to somewhere in U.S., met with his friend, who happened to be his client, and Dr. Glenn Orts. Now, Dr. Glenn Orts actually was very connected, and he was U.S. ambassador to UNICEF, and under previous, Democrat administration, also under Republican administration, and so I didn't know he happened to be a liberal Democrat, but then help is help and is a lifeline. So Jiang Yu told Glenn Orts, my grandson couldn't keep his mouth shut, and he is on CCP kill list. And Dr. Orts said, no problem. I can get him out of China. How? China just opened up. Chinese government allow government student under J1 visa come to America to study. He said next year, soon, actually F1 visa would be available, F1 visa for private students. If you're willing to sponsor him, I can give him a scholarship and get him a F1 visa. I personally would write to U.S. consular, to Consul General, and asking for a visa within 3 months. And I got my passport and U.S. visa and came to America. When I landed on October 23rd, 1980, now that was my liberation day, right? I only knew thank you and Coca-Cola. So I had to start ABCD all over.
Well,
Solomon,
for the
here's-
record, Solomon speaks Chinglish.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And actually, your Chinglish is kind of coming a little bit more to English these days.
Thank you, Bruce.
Solomon, Bruce, this is important. October 23rd, 1980.
October 23rd, 1980, yes.
That's not that long ago. And Americans don't understand how close we are, just how recent that time frame is from Mao Zedong and communist China, even though it's communist now, just how close we are to that, heading back into that again.
So how is it after these almost 50 years? How is it that young Americans in this country embrace communism? They just call it socialism. That's just a softening up of the other
Right.
term. How
Right.
is it that this entire generation embraces communism?
Because we allow government school to take over and brainwashing them. And we pay for it with our property taxes.
And this is why they are pissed that Arizona has the ESA accounts for homeschooling and everything
Right.
else. And by the way, Solomon, just as a personal aside, my daughter-in-law, one of my daughter-in-laws, is first-generation American Chinese. Her parents came over from China back right before Korea, and they were missionaries, which is why they had to get the hell out of China. Her father ended up being an interrogator translator in the U.S. Army over in Korea, and you know, talk about once again people that have a passion for freedom. You know, I don't know your story as much. It brings your story closer to home by having that
Right.
with my family.
Right.
Yes.
And so many immigrants pursue this American dream, and your story goes a step further into becoming an influential political strategist. At what point did you realize your mission was larger than personal success?
Very good question. During re-education by farmers period, 3 days, I made a deal with God. Get me out of China. I will bring down CCP. And I gave you the glory. Okay. A real strange thing. And so when I came, I realized, first of all, you have to be a successful man in America. And that means you have to immerse in American culture and also be in America legally. So first thing I did was talk to immigration director in Anchorage. Actually, the guy told me by talking to him, asking those questions, he could arrest me and kick me out of China. Now, things really changed. And because I show intent to stay in America when I was on F1 visa. But I explained to him, it was very gutsy and broken English. 1 year after I graduated from English Language Institute, I told him, my parents actually married for love. I don't want to marry somebody for green card. And my father's distant cousin owns a Chinese restaurant. Tried to get me married to a waitress, Chinese waitress, who happened to have a green card. So I said, I don't want to go down that road. If I'm going to marry, I'm going to marry for love, not for green card. But at the same time, I want to stay legally. And I'm a poor student and working 2 jobs, and I need little roadmap. What kind of legal way I could use to stay in America? Finally, he gave me 15 minutes, explained to me. For you to stay in America, you could come in under 6 preference, like a skilled worker, or under 3rd preference as professional expert. But that would require your MBA, require you are expert in the field. So I told him, actually, I know somebody and who is in international trade already recruit me to be a interpreter and also to negotiate contracts. And he told me that is the right way to do it. And when they hire you, that's Alaska World Trade Corporation, and you put out a resume, nobody can compete with you because you already have knowledge in this area. So when I got my green card, I have to, U.S. Labor Department gave me a title, International Trade Economist. I had 100 applicants to compete with me for the job, but I beat them out. That's how I got my green card. So when I got my green card, I still I realized actually I need to get involved in politics now. When I landed in Anchorage, Alaska, without speaking any English, and my interpreter was very helpful, and I was very, very interested in U.S. presidential politics. The reason was very simple. Chinese Communist government endorsed Jimmy Carter. He was running against Ronald Reagan. I needed to know more about Reagan. For one thing, which party is Reagan? Reagan belongs to. And the second thing I wanted to know Reagan's agenda. The interpreter told me party is Republican Party, and the agenda is bring down USSR. I told the interpreter, Republican Party is going to be my home party, period. So
Solomon, we leave there just for a second. We need to take a quick break to hear
a capitalist break.
A capitalist break. You're right. Good
yes.
point. We'll be right back with Solomon Yue about his new book, Counterscript.
Hang in there, Solomon.
You're listening to Inside Track with Bruce Ash on the Live the Dream Media Network. Now a word from our sponsor.
It's termite season.
Hi, it's me.
And bugs fear the blue trucks from Essential Pest Control. Go blue at Essential Pest Control. We'll eliminate those bugs, bees, and termites. And stop paying too much to that national provider. Buy local for great service and affordable rates. Call Essential Pest Control because termites fear the blue.
Run for your life.
Call for the blue trucks from Essential Pest Control. 886-3029. That's 886-3029. Or check online at essentialpest.com.
This is Eb Wilkinson with Wilkinson Wealth Management, where we manage money for gun owners. What does it mean to retire comfortably and remain comfortably retired? It means designing a plan that allows you to do the things you want to do, outpace inflation, and never run out of money in your lifetime. If you want to retire comfortably and remain comfortably retired, call me, Eb Wilkinson, at 777-1911. That's 777-1911 or WilkinsonWealthMGMT.com.
I'm proud to welcome my good friends at Tucson Iron and Metal Retail to Inside Track as an advertiser. Jamie Kipper and her staff are conservation experts. They sell round and square steel tubing, metal plate and roofing materials, as well as new and used steel, aluminum, and stainless steel to ranchers, artists, interior designers, roofers, as well as you do-it-yourselfers out there. Tucson Iron and Metal Retail is open Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. Tucson Iron and Steel Retail, 701 East 36th Street. Call 520-209-1576. That's 520-209-1576, or go to TucsonIronRetail.com. Come by and be sure to ask for Jamie. Tucson Iron and Steel Retail. This is what conservation and repurposing is all about.
Does your ordinary radio feel a little limited? If you're looking for a new way to listen, it's time for a fresh start. Introducing the Live the Dream Media app, your premier destination and a new level up for digital radio. Over the last 2 years, we've found new ways to ensure your digital radio experience is the best it can possibly be. From live podcasts that spark new perspectives to a 24/7 soundtrack of live music, and even our built-in merch store. We've built a platform that is convenient, high quality, and simple to navigate. But we're only just getting started. Catch all of our shows weekly and join the Live the Dream Media family today and help us change the airwaves forever. Download it for free on the App Store or Play Store today. Live the dream. The dream starts now.
Welcome back to Inside Track with Bruce Ash on the Live the Dream Media Network. Now back to our show.
Welcome back to Inside Track. This portion of the show brought to you by Ebb's great company, Wilkinson Wealth Management. Ebb helps my family, and he can help you also. Let Ebb comfortably guide you and your family into a secure retirement and stay comfortably retired. Wilkinson Wealth Management. Call him today at 777-1911. Ebb?
Hey, Inside Track is also brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Call the Essential team at 886-3029. Tucson Iron Metal Retail has supported the show since 2017 and is home to builders, ranchers, farmers, and they have great steel products for your home projects as well. Call them at 209-1576. And Bruce's family-run company, Paul Ash Commercial Real Estate, where his team makes great things happen every day. Call them at 795-2100. Now, Solomon, we had to leave you with to take our capitalist break, talking about Ronald Reagan and his party was going to be your party. Keep going on that.
So first thing I did was I can't really join the party officially until I become U.S. citizen. And by then, I got married to Dr. Oregon Yue, a totally conservative anti-communist.
Yes, she was.
And again, it was true love. And so we decided move from Anchorage, Alaska to Salem, Oregon. So we moved. By the time we moved, she started her own medical clinic. Actually, I was managing her medical clinic as well. I started medical gloves, latex, natural vinyl gloves made in Malaysia. Then I also manage our family real estate properties. And so it was very busy time. What I realized now, you are getting somewhere and making money. The question is how you keep your money and how you keep your freedom. And other side want to tax you to death. So the day I became U.S. citizen, Democrat Party actually have people at the federal court gave new citizens registration form, and Republican Party was not there. Oregon Republican Party was not there.
Wow!
And I took that form. It really tells me our focus is not on voter registration and voter education and get a vote, real basic stuff. But what I did was I took the form, refused to fill out and give back to them. I took home, fill out, and took it the next day to Polk County Clerk's office, registered myself as a Republican. And pretty soon, I also realized need to involve in policy. The first thing came to my mind was Hillary Care. Because Hillary Care will nationalize medical industry and turn private doctors, Oregon Yue was a private doctor, into government doctor. So the issue is take a look at government school, what they're going to do when you have government doctors. So that's how I started on the policy side and become a Polk County Republican Party chairman, and then ran for national committeeman in 2000 and got re-elected for 6 times. Those are 4 years term. And 2024, August 18th was my last day in office, and usually go with the ending of the Republican National Convention. So that was my 24-year service on the Republican National Committee.
Solomon, talk about being a political entrepreneur inside of the Republican National Committee.
Thank you, Bruce. And actually, Bruce and I are both political entrepreneur. A political entrepreneur concept is from you always there to serve the needs of this country. Just like when I defend my grandfather, serve the needs of customers. And the first thing I realized was it was true. Republican Party is no different, you heard that, than Democrat Party, but not 100% true. Democrats taking this nation at a 65 miles or 75 miles per hour towards socialism. My Republican Party, my own party, did it slowly at a 35 miles per hour. But slowly, surely, we're going to get there. Another thing is, when I first got elected, 2000, I got myself involved in organizing Taiwan ambassador to U.S. his Chinese New Year banquet for RNC members at a Twin Oak estate. Now, what I got the first thing was, hey, Solomon, from the White House, President Bush, that's 43, didn't want you to take RNC chairman to the Twin Oak estate. Why is that? Because his brother Neil did lots of business in China, still doing lots of business in China. And President didn't want to offend China. I said, holy shit.
Or deny his
Go ahead.
opportunities.
Right. And so when I saw that, the question is, as far as CCP is concerned, two parties, they're no difference. Everybody wants to do business with them, and they can slowly and infiltrate American society. So with that rule, but when you have the president, you have to do what president wants to do as an RNC member. Okay, that's a rule we always follow until Bush 43 bail out car industry and financial industries, and Jim Bob, another RNC member, a friend of ours, and decided we're going to stand up. So he was the author and chief sponsor. I was the second co-sponsor, and Bruce is the third co-sponsor. We introduced a RNC resolution calling bailing out auto and financial industry is marching towards socialism. And Ralph Hollow, Washington Times chief
great guy,
political great guy, yes, wrote an article, said first time in GOP history, a sitting president got criticized by his national party. So that's in the book too. But that's the right thing to do, because if you don't do that, and we're in trouble. Now, fast forward to during all Republican president years, I was on the committee, and I realized something. We really need a Republican president, not only stop the train moving towards socialism, but also reverse it. Guess what? We got 2016. And that was the reason Bruce and I and Jim Bob defended Trump nomination. They tried to take away establishment.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Robert's rules. Let's talk about the undoing of the conscience movement prior to the 2016 convention, because us troublemakers, you the leader, Jim and I were trying to keep up with you. We completely, with your leadership, discombobulated what could have been one of the worst possible things that ever happened in a national political party, to deny a legitimately chosen candidate for president.
You mean like the
Right.
did with Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I got a call from then RNC chairman Reince Priebus. Now, the way he called me, because Bruce and I got him elected 3 times as RNC chairman. Okay. And so there is a real relationship. And on top of that, my late wife is a Greek from Athens. And Reince is half Greek, half German. Now, from one Greek to the other, they always see each other as lost cousin in America. So the call goes like this: Hey, Solomon, you are part of my family. As a Greek family, yes, I need a favor. What was the favor? Well, I need you to be on the same page with me. For what? Well, I don't think Trump is going to get elected. We need to parachute, exactly his word, a wide night to save Republican Party. Parachute into where? Into the convention. I said, wait a minute. Trump win state by state, accumulating enough delegates to national convention. Now, not there yet, because Cruz also accumulates some, but eventually he will get there. And plus 168 are super delegates. We don't even know how the super delegates are going to break yet. So based on that, what you want to do is unconstitutional. I'm constitutionalist before I'm Republican. And you don't take somebody's nomination away, and because you don't think he could win. And then he, of course, told me lots of garbage in Trump's closet, and we just don't think he can win this. I said, who do you have in mind? Oh, one of my friends, very close friend. Now we know only 2 friends is very close to him. Paul Ryan is one, then Speaker of the House, and the governor of his own state, Wisconsin. But Wisconsin governor got a baggage, and so narrowed down differently to Paul Ryan. And so Paul Ryan, why not? I said, look, I can't help you to.
Chairman of the convention. He controlled the gavel. Paul Ryan controlled
exactly
at the convention.
Yeah, I couldn't help you with that. And oh well, that means we would have a civil war. I said, well, during the American history I learned, during the American Civil War, we have people from same family fighting on both sides. So if that is going to be a civil war, so be it. But I have to do the right thing. Now the conversation was on speakerphone. So after I hang up with him, and my late wife, Dr. Urania, said, "You let that prick get away with steal Trump's nomination?" I said, "No, honey, slow down. But how are you going to stop it?" Greek. Greek gets excited very easily, and so I said, well, I have to make 2 calls, one to Bruce Ash, who was chairman of RNC Standing Rules Committee, and one to Jim Bob. By then, Jim Bob was off the committee, but was legal counsel to RNC Rules Committee, which is Bruce Ash legal counsel. So we got together on the phone and talked about what just happened. And I said, I have one question. How could he do that? Well, Jim Bob was one of handful of national lawyers and national expert on House rules. House rule basically could do anything, just like the way Pelosi run the House. Doesn't require a vote. And so we figure out the way they're going to do it. They would, traditionally speaking, when you have a GOP House Speaker is chairing the convention. So he could give gavel to Chairman Reince Priebus. And then they could use House rule to introduce a new candidate, happened to be Paul Ryan. So the next question was, how are we going to defeat that? And Jim Bob came up with a great idea, introduce a concept, a motion, and require 50% of plus one to vote on the new candidate by the convention delegates. So he drafted a motion, which is introducing the concept of Roberts of rules to govern the convention. We had a hiccup fight, and all the newspaper reported, and actually by end of the day, now Bruce is the first one exposed them. When legal counsel office sent out a email to all RNC members, claimed didn't receive any proposal for the motion, for a new motion to govern the convention. So what they didn't know is I sent to them, I also BCC'd Bruce Ash, the chairman. So Bruce Ash was the first one told Ralph Hollow, that's not true. Here's the date stamp. Here's a copy of my email. And from Solomon Yue, he did it, propose and submitted in time for consideration. So Ralph actually quote me, what we have is constitutional tyranny at the RNC. So that thing blew up big time. And in the end, they defeat my motion. But RNC General Counsel declared the convention would be governed by 3 documents, House rules and RNC rules and Robert's Rule Order. And RNC rules actually require 2/3 when you bring in a new candidate. So it's more strong protection for then candidate Trump. So I lost the battle and win the war.
So we go to the pre-convention period in 2016 in Cleveland, Ohio, and now there has this kind of a homegrown proposal by a group out of Colorado to vote your conscience. So RNC delegates are pledged to the candidates who won their state primary, and now talk about the black ops operation that happened literally in a windowless black painted room over the course of about 36 hours, and what was done to break that group down.
Well, what happened was before we reach, before we go to convention, and Trump, Ted Cruz campaign reached out to 3 of us, Bruce Ash, Jim Bob, and me, asked us to talk to Trump campaign, basically cut a deal. They realized they will never get enough delegates to be nominated. But Ted Cruz would like to have primetime speaking slot. And so we said, okay, if we go there, Ted needed to promise after he gave that spot, before he finished speech, he needs to endorse Trump. So conservatives can finish this convention as united force, right? And so they agreed, actually. So we talked to Trump campaign and sit them down, and Trump campaign actually honored that part, gave them the prime time. But knowing they were running a covert vote your conscience campaign, and guess what? At the end of Ted Cruz's speech, he asked delegates to vote their conscience. Now, one of the issues go ahead, Bruce.
It did a pretty piss poor job supporting Donald Trump.
That's right. And one of the issue was they also tried to change RNC rules. They passed a rule to asking delegates disregard state law to vote their conscience. It goes like this: if I run for Trump delegate in Oregon, by state law, I had to vote for Trump twice before I can become free agent, vote for Ted Cruz in this case. And when they did that during the RNC Convention Rules Committee, and Bruce was now appointed to the convention committee. And so other side didn't pass that. Okay, what I did was I amend that law, and anything will take effect after the convention based on we can't ask our delegate knowingly to violate state statute. Republican Party believes the rule of law, right? Not doing cockamamie stuff like this. So it worked. And so we fought it, and by end of the day, Ted Cruz lost big time.
One of your strongest critics. Hang on just a second here. I want to make sure that
I didn't know I have one.
Yeah, your controversial figure. Hang on just a second here.
I'll ask the question.
Yeah.
So, Solomon, you're a pretty controversial figure. And this is the last question for the day. Unfortunately, we're out of time. If one of your strongest critics read Counterscript, what would you hope they would understand about you and how you've approached your life in politics, even if they still disagreed with your conclusion?
I would hope they understand nothing is personal in politics. That's rule number one for me. Rule number two, you always do the right thing based on your conviction. And three, if we win, give the credit to God.
That's a great thing to think and to live by. You know, so many of our friends in politics, it's all about what's next. And you and I, and I think Eb for sure, we agree in doing the right thing always. Solomon, that's it for today. We
ran out of time, and we could go another. We could go, Solomon. We could go another hour with this,
and we still have lots to cover. But that we'll have to do at another time. How do people get your book, Counterscript?
Search my name on Amazon.
So Solomon Yue, Yue.
Right.
And that's
on Amazon.
On Amazon. Okay.
Yeah, Amazon.com.
All right. Well, best of luck on the book. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I will see you in the first weekend of August for your nuptials with the lovely Carrie and Jim, and the three suits will be reunited again this summer.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks, Solomon. It's time to close up shop for today. Thanks so much for spending time with us and our guest, Solomon Yue. Bruce and I really hope you enjoyed today's show and meeting Solomon and talking about his book, Counterscript. All of our Inside Track podcasts are available on Live the Dream Media's Facebook Live page, YouTube, Apple, and X.
Please tune in next week when we have another action-packed show planned for you. Until then, this is Bruce Ash and
Eb Wilkinson.